In every human life, there comes a moment when the road becomes difficult. Dreams that once seemed bright begin to feel distant, and goals that once felt possible start to look impossible. At that moment, a person stands at an important crossroads. One path leads to giving up, accepting defeat, and walking away from the dream. The other path leads to persistence, courage, regret, and the decision to keep moving forward no matter how hard the journey becomes. The difference between these two choices often decides the direction of a person's entire life. The power of never giving up is one of the greatest forces a human being can develop. It is not something that appears suddenly. It grows slowly through challenges, failures, and determination. People who refuse to give up understand a simple but powerful truth: success rarely happens immediately. Almost every meaningful achievement requires time, patience, and repeated effort. When people start working toward a dream, the beginning often feels exciting. Motivation is high, energy is strong, and the future looks promising. But after some time, difficulties begin to appear. Progress becomes slower than expected, mistakes happen, and obstacles begin to test a person's confidence. This is the stage where many people lose hope. They begin to believe that the dream is too difficult or that they are not capable enough to achieve it. But the people who eventually succeed react differently to these challenges. Instead of seeing difficulties as signs to quit, they see them as opportunities to learn and improve. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success. In many ways, failure is simply part of the journey toward success. Every failure carries a lesson. It reveals what does not work and encourages us to try a different approach. When a person accepts this mindset, failure becomes less frightening. Instead of feeling ashamed or discouraged, they become curious about what they can learn from the experience. This curiosity leads to growth. Another important aspect of persistence is patience. In today's fast-moving world, people often expect quick results. They want success to happen instantly. But many important achievements take years of effort. Skills must be developed, knowledge must be gained, and experience must be built gradually. When people remain patient with their progress, they allow themselves the time needed to grow. It is also important to remember that progress does not always appear dramatic. Improvement often happens in small steps. Each day of effort may seem insignificant, but over time, those small efforts create meaningful change. Just like drops of water can slowly shape a rock, consistent effort can slowly shape success. The journey towards success also teaches resilience. Resilience is the ability to continue moving forward despite difficulties. It allows people to recover from setbacks and continue trying. Without resilience, even small challenges can feel overwhelming. But with resilience, even large obstacles can be faced with courage. Many of the most inspiring success stories in history share a common pattern. Before achieving greatness, those individuals faced repeated failures and rejection. They experienced moments when their goals seemed impossible. But what made them different was their refusal to give up. Their determination allowed them to continue learning, improving, and trying again. Each attempt brought them closer to success because each attempt increased their knowledge and experience. Another important element of never giving up is belief in oneself. Self-belief does not mean thinking that everything will be easy. Instead, it means trusting your ability to adapt and overcome challenges. When a person believes they can improve, they remain willing to try again even after mistakes. There will always be people who doubt your dreams. Some may believe your goals are unrealistic or too ambitious. Listening too closely to these voices can weaken your confidence. But persistence requires focusing on your own vision rather than the doubts of others. The power of never giving up is not just about achieving success. It is also about becoming stronger through the journey. Each challenge teaches patience, discipline, and determination. These qualities remain valuable even after the goal is achieved. Life will always present obstacles. No journey is completely smooth. But when a person develops the habit of persistence, obstacles lose their power to stop progress. They become temporary difficulties that can be overcome with effort and determination. The most important step is simply continuing. Even when the road feels long and uncertain, continuing to try keeps the possibility of success alive. Because in the end, many dreams are achieved not by those who are the most talented, but by those who refuse to give up. As the journey toward success continues, every person eventually encounters failure. Failure is not something unusual or rare, it is a natural part of growth. The problem is that many people misunderstand failure. They see it as a sign that they are not capable or that their dream is too difficult. Because of this misunderstanding, they stop trying before they have given themselves enough time to improve. But failure is not the enemy of success. In many ways, failure is one of the most powerful teachers in life. It shows us our weaknesses, helps us understand our mistakes, and guides us toward better strategies. Without failure, improvement would be almost impossible because we would never know what needs to change. When someone refuses to give up after failure, something important begins to happen inside them. They develop resilience. Resilience is the mental strength that allows a person to recover from setbacks and continue moving forward. Life becomes less frightening when you know that even if something goes wrong, you will find a way to stand up again. Think about a person learning a new skill. At the beginning, mistakes are unavoidable. No one becomes an expert on the first attempt. Whether someone is learning a language, building a business, studying for exams, or pursuing any other goal, mistakes are part of the learning process. The difference between success and failure often often depends on how a person reacts to those mistakes. Some people become discouraged and stop trying. Others decide to treat each mistake as valuable information. They analyze what went wrong, adjust their approach, and try again with a better understanding. Over time, this process leads to improvement. Another reason many people quit too early is because they compare themselves with others. When they see someone else achieving success faster, they begin to doubt their own progress. But every person's journey is different. Some people move quickly at the beginning, while others progress slowly but steadily. Comparing yourself to others can create unnecessary frustration. Instead, it is more helpful to focus on personal growth. The most important question is not whether you are moving faster than someone else, but whether you are improving compared to your past self. Persistence also requires controlling negative thoughts. After failure, the mind may start producing doubts. Thoughts like, maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I should quit may appear. These thoughts can feel powerful, but they are simply emotional reactions. They do not represent the full truth about your ability or potential. Learning to challenge these negative thoughts is an important step in developing persistence. Instead of accepting them immediately, it is better to remind yourself that every successful person once struggled with similar doubts. The difference is that they continued trying despite those doubts. Another powerful strategy is focusing on progress rather than perfection. Many people expect themselves to perform perfectly from the beginning. When they fall short of that unrealistic expectation, they feel disappointed. But perfection is not required for success. Progress is what truly matters. Each small improvement represents movement in the right direction. Even if the improvement seems minor, it still brings you closer to your goal. Over time, these small improvements accumulate and create significant growth. Support from others can also play an important role in maintaining persistence. Encouraging friends, family members, or mentors can provide motivation during difficult moments. Sometimes simply hearing someone believe in you can restore confidence when doubt appears. However, the most powerful motivation must come from within. Internal motivation is stronger and more reliable than external praise. When your goal truly matters to you, it becomes easier to continue trying even when no one else is watching. Another helpful approach is remembering the reason behind your goal. Every dream begins with a purpose. Perhaps you wanted to improve your life, help your family, or achieve something meaningful. When the journey becomes difficult, reconnecting with that purpose can restore motivation. The road to success often includes moments of frustration, uncertainty, and exhaustion. These experiences are not signs that the dream is impossible. They are signs that the journey requires patience and effort. People who never give up understand that success is often closer than it appears. Many individuals quit just before they reach the breakthrough they have been working toward. If they had continued trying for a little longer, they might have discovered the opportunity they were searching for. Persistence keeps the door to success open. Every attempt creates another possibility for progress. Each step forward increases knowledge, strengthens confidence, and builds experience. Eventually, these repeated efforts begin to produce results. Skills improve, obstacles become easier to handle, and goals that once seemed distant start to feel achievable. And this is the quiet but powerful secret of persistence. When you refuse to give up, every failure becomes another step guiding you toward success. As a person continues their journey without giving up, something remarkable begins to happen. Challenges that once seemed frightening start to feel manageable. Problems that once created doubt slowly begin to build confidence. This transformation happens because persistence gradually strengthens the mind and character. Life has a unique gift of shaping people through difficulties. When everything is easy, growth is limited. Comfort can keep a person in the same place for a long time. But challenges force individuals to think differently, act differently, and develop new abilities. Each obstacle becomes an opportunity to grow stronger. One of the most important qualities developed through persistence is mental strength. Mental strength allows a person to remain calm during pressure and continue working toward their goals even when circumstances are difficult. Instead of becoming overwhelmed by problems, mentally strong individuals learn to face those problems with patience and determination. This strength is not something people are born with. It develops through experience. Each time a person faces a challenge and refuses to quit, their confidence increases. They begin to realize that they are capable of handling more than they once believed. Another important lesson that challenges teach is adaptability. The path towards success rarely remains straight and predictable. Unexpected obstacles often appear along the way. Plans may need to change, strategies may need to be adjusted, and sometimes entirely new approaches must be created. People who never give up understand that persistence does not mean repeating the same action endlessly. Instead, it means staying committed to the goal while being flexible with the method. When one approach fails, they search for another solution. When one door closes, they look for another way forward. Adaptability keeps progress alive even during difficult situations. It allows a person to turn obstacles into opportunities for learning and innovation. Many great achievements in history were possible because someone refused to accept a problem as the final answer and continued search for a better solution. Challenges also develop patience. In a world where people often expect instant results, patience becomes a powerful advantage. Important goals often require time, preparation, and consistent effort. When a person learns to remain patient during slow progress, they give themselves the chance to reach outcomes that others may abandon too early. During long journeys, there may be periods where progress feels invisible. Effort continues, but the results are not immediately noticeable. These moments can test a person's faith in their own work. However, it is important to understand that growth often occurs beneath the surface before it becomes visible. Just like a seed growing underground before it appears above the soil, personal development often happens quietly. Skills improve, knowledge increases, and confidence strengthens even when results are not immediately obvious. When people continue working during these silent stages of growth, they prepare themselves for future breakthroughs. Another valuable lesson learned through persistence is self-discovery. Difficult journeys reveal abilities that people never knew they had. Someone who once believed they were weak may discover hidden determination. Someone who doubted their intelligence may realize they have the ability to solve complex problems. These discoveries change the way people see themselves. Confidence becomes stronger because it is supported by real experience rather than empty belief. The person understands that if they could overcome previous obstacles, they can overcome future challenges as well. Challenges also teach gratitude and appreciation. When success finally arrives after long effort, it feels far more meaningful. The struggle that once seemed painful becomes part of a valuable story. People begin to appreciate their achievements more deeply because they know how much effort was required to reach them. Another important aspect of persistence is maintaining a positive mindset. This does not mean ignoring difficulties or pretending that problems do not exist. Instead, it means choosing to focus on solutions rather than being trapped by frustration. Optimistic thinking encourages creativity and problem solving. When a person believes that improvement is possible, the mind naturally begins searching for ways to achieve it. This mindset keeps motivation alive during difficult periods. Support from positive influences can also strengthen determination. Listening to inspiring stories, learning from mentors, and surrounding yourself with encouraging people can provide the energy needed to continue moving forward. However, the most powerful support still comes from personal belief. When a person truly believes that persistence will eventually lead to success, they develop the courage to continue even during uncertainty. Over time, as we reach the final stage of this journey, one important truth becomes clear: the power of never giving up is one of the greatest forces that can shape a person's life. It is the quiet strength that pushes people forward when the path becomes difficult. It is the voice inside that says, "Try one more time," even when failure has appeared many times before. This power has changed countless lives, and it continues to guide people toward success every single day. Throughout life, every person will face moments when quitting feels easier than continuing. There will be days when motivation disappears, when progress feels slow, and when doubts begin to grow. These moments are not signs that the dream is impossible. They are simply tests of determination. They are moments that ask a simple but powerful question: will you continue, or will you stop? The people who eventually succeed are not always the most talented or the most fortunate. Very often, they are simply the ones who continued walking when others decided to stop. They accepted that the journey would be long, mistakes would happen, and that improvement would take time. Instead of seeing these realities as discouraging, they accepted them as part of the process. When someone continues trying despite difficulties, their character becomes stronger. Each challenge develops patience. Each failure builds wisdom. Each obstacle strengthens determination. Over time, these qualities shape a person into someone capable of achieving great things. It is also important to remember that success rarely arrives suddenly. More often, it appears gradually after many small efforts. Each step forward contributes to the final result. Even the smallest improvement can become significant when repeated consistently over time. Imagine a person climbing a tall mountain. The peak may seem very far away at the beginning. The journey requires patience, effort, and courage. There will be moments when the climber feels tired and uncertain. But if the climber continues taking one step at a time, the distance slowly becomes shorter. Eventually, after many steps, the summit is reached. Life's goals work in a similar way. They may appear overwhelming at first, but steady effort makes progress possible. The key is focusing on the next step rather than becoming discouraged by the entire distance. Another powerful realization happens after a person finally achieves their goal. When they look back at their journey, they often see that the challenges they once feared were actually the experiences that prepared them for success. Those difficulties taught them important lessons, strengthened their mindset, and developed the skills they needed. Without those struggles, the success might not have been possible. The journey itself becomes just as valuable as the destination. This realization brings confidence. It shows that persistence truly works. A person who refuses to give up develops a mindset that can handle future challenges with greater courage. Instead of fearing obstacles, they understand that every problem can be faced and eventually solved. Your story is still being written. Every decision you make today influences the direction of your future. When you choose persistence instead of quitting, you keep the door of opportunity open. You allow yourself the chance to grow, improve, and eventually succeed. There may still be difficult moments ahead, but now you know something important: progress belongs to those who continue trying. Each effort adds experience. Each attempt brings new understanding. Every step forward builds the path toward your goal. When people look at successful individuals, they often see only the final result. They see the achievements, the recognition, and the accomplishments. What they do not always see are the countless moments when those individuals could have given up but chose not to. Those moments of persistence are the true foundation of success. So whenever you feel discouraged, rest. Remember the power that exists within determination. Remember that success does not belong only to those who start with advantages. It belongs to those who keep moving forward even when the road becomes difficult. Keep learning from your mistakes, keep improving your skills, keep believing that effort and patience will eventually lead to progress. Move forward step by step, day by day, and challenge by challenge, because the greatest dreams in life are often achieved by people who followed one simple principle: never give up.